All right, let's talk about something that's kind of the secret engine behind almost all the software you use, Git and GitHub. Ever stop to wonder how massive, globe-spanning teams can build something super complex together? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to demystify it all. Let's kick things off with the big question they were designed to answer.
I mean, really think about that for a sec. The apps on your phone, the websites you browse, they aren't magic. They're built by huge teams, people who might never even meet in person. So how in the world do they manage to work on the exact same project at the exact same time without it all just descending into pure chaos? Without one person's work accidentally wiping out someone else's. It seems impossible, right? And the scale we're talking about here is just mind-boggling. Just to give you an idea, GitHub, and that's just one piece of this puzzle, has over 100 million developers on its platform. 100 million! Think of all those people, all those brilliant minds, all potentially tapping away on the same projects. The coordination challenge is just, wow.
So how do they do it? Well, the answer, the secret sauce that prevents all that chaos, is something called version control, or you'll often hear it called a VCS. This is the genius idea that makes all of this massive global teamwork even possible.
Okay, so what is a version control system? The best way to think about it is like a time machine for your project. Seriously. It keeps a perfect record of every single change that's ever been made. It knows who made the change, exactly when they made it, and it even lets them leave a note explaining why they made it. So if someone makes a mistake and breaks everything, and trust me, it happens, you can just hit rewind and go back to a version that actually worked. It's all about bringing order and a safety net to the whole process.
Okay, here's a super important point though. This whole version control thing isn't just one single piece of software. It's actually a two-part system. You've got the tool that you run on your own computer, and then you've got the hub, this central place online where everybody shares what they've been working on.
And that, my friends, brings us to the main event. Git and GitHub. You hear these two names thrown around together all the time, right? But they're not the same thing. They each have a very specific job to do, and getting the difference between them is, well, it's kind of the key to unlocking how all of modern software gets made.
This really breaks it down nicely. Think of it this way. Git is the actual software, the program that you install on your own machine. It's the engine, your personal time machine for your code. GitHub? That's the website, the online service. It's the central library where you store your project and all its history, so your whole team can see it and work on it together. So, Git is the tool you use, and GitHub is the place you share your work. Simple as that.
And this right here really gets to the heart of why Git is so powerful. It's not just about saving different versions of your files. It's about telling the story of the project. Imagine you're a new developer joining a team. You can literally just look through the Git history and see every decision, every change, every step that led the project to where it is today. It's an incredible way to get up to speed fast.
Okay, so back to that big question. How do all these people work at once without stepping on each other's toes? The magic answer is a feature in Git called branching. This is the real game changer. I love the analogy of a parallel universe. When you create a branch, it's like you're creating a complete, separate copy of the project where you can go wild. You can build a new feature, try to fix a tricky bug, experiment with some crazy idea, and none of it affects the main, stable version of the project. It's a completely safe sandbox.
And this leads to a really elegant and simple workflow. It goes like this. You always start with the main branch. That's the official, trusted version of the project. Then you create your own branch, which is basically your personal copy to mess with. You do all your work there in total isolation. Then, once you're done and you're happy with it, you merge your changes back into the main project. Boom, your work is now official. That's the fundamental rhythm of how modern teams work together.
All right, so that's all the theory. It probably sounds a little abstract, right? So let's make it real. We're going to walk through a super basic Hello World project to see how all these concepts, Git, GitHub, branching, merging, actually work in the real world. Step 1, you need a home for your project. On GitHub, this is called a repository, or repo for short. Just think of it as the main folder for your project. It's where all your code will live, all your files, and, this is the important part, the entire history of every single change.
Okay, next up, you're ready to start working, but you're not going to touch that main branch. Nope. Instead, you create your own branch. Let's call it something like README edits. The second you do that, poof, you're in your own safe little sandbox, that parallel universe we talked about. You can change whatever you want, and the main project is totally untouched.
All right, now you get to work. You edit a file, write some code, whatever it is. And whenever you reach a good stopping point, you commit your changes. Now, a commit is way more than just hitting save. It's like taking a snapshot of your work at that exact moment and attaching a little note to it explaining what you did. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs so you and anyone else can see exactly what you were thinking.
So, you've finished your work on your branch. Now what? Well, you need to get it into the main project. You do that by opening something called a pull request. And honestly, this is where the real collaboration magic happens on GitHub. A pull request is basically you saying, hey everyone, I did this cool thing over here on my branch. Could you please take a look, and if you like it, can we pull my changes into the main project?
This is where your team can review your code, leave comments, maybe ask for a few tweaks. Once everyone's happy and gives it the thumbs up, you merge the pull request. And with a single click, all of that work you did in your safe little branch gets perfectly woven into the main project. Just like that, your contribution is live. The cycle is complete.
Okay, so let's take a step back and look at the big picture here, because what we've just described, it's more than just a nerdy process for programmers. It's a totally new way for people to collaborate and build things together, no matter where they are on the planet.
So, let's recap the key takeaways. Git is the local tool, the time machine that tracks the history. GitHub is this central online hub where everyone shares that history. The whole workflow, branch, commit, pull request, and merge, is the secret recipe that allows teams to work in parallel, safely, and without chaos. And this model, this whole system, is the foundation for pretty much all modern software and open source projects. It's that big a deal.
I mean, think about it. This model of transparent, decentralized collaboration didn't just change software development, it revolutionized it. It's what makes massive open source projects possible. But it makes you wonder, right? What's next? What happens when this way of working gets applied to other things? What about writing laws or scientific research or even creating art? The potential is huge. Definitely something to chew on.